Today we'd like to welcome Bishop Council Nedd, who is absolutely passionate about what's going on with the military right now, and it's very, very important. He's got a lot of things to say, and he's from the Episcopal Missionary Church. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Would you tell us a little bit about this controversy that's going on within the military right now where they don't want God or Jesus mentioned by chaplains? Can you tell us a little more?
Of course. Yeah, so you would think it would stand to reason that a military chaplain could pray in the name of Jesus or as they see fit. But apparently there have been numerous instances of military chaplains being penalized by their superiors for uttering the name of Jesus. And there's a wonderful congressman by the name of Walter Jones, a very sweet man from North Carolina who, solid Christian, but he introduced a piece of legislation to permit military chaplains to pray as they see fit, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or whatever, but to actually do your job the way it's intended to be done.
But it doesn't make any sense to me. If you have a chaplain, you should be able to speak about God.
Well, precisely, that's the point at all. I mean, It seems like we've devolved to a point now. So for most of the history of America, our founding fathers acknowledged God. And all of our politicians and leaders throughout most of history have acknowledged God as our creator and the reason why this country is such a wonderful, bountiful country. So we went through this sort of short period where people were sort of ignoring God, but now people are antagonistic towards God, and it's really problematic. And, if you've got a situation where you've got some young kid in Iraq or Afghanistan or someplace, they're frightened. Someone might be shooting at them. They might have to shoot somebody. If they ask a chaplain to pray for them, the chaplain should be able to pray as he sees fit.
Absolutely.
So one of the problems, too, is not being able to pray in the name of Jesus Christ. That's even on like Duck Dynasty. They're trying to get far, far away. It seems like a lot of people are okay with saying God, but not necessarily Christ. How do you address that?
Well, it seems to me like it's just an attack on Christianity. The members of the Jewish faith aren't curtailed in how they practice their faith. Muslims aren't curtailed in that way. It seems to be directed specifically towards Christians and the name of Jesus. Well, Christians pray in the name of Jesus. That's just how we do it. Why are we the only ones that are affected by this? Something needs to be done, and people need to actually sort of step back and realize, what have we gotten to in this country?
But what is their argument? Again, what are they saying is the reason why they don't want... how does it hurt anybody?
That's my point precisely, and that's why I don't know how we've devolved into the situation that we have now.
The only thing that worries me is that if we let them put their foot in the door and they start making that move in that direction, look what they've done with Christmas and nativity scenes and trying to shut down all of this. They're making a lot of noise and they're pushing their foot further and further into that door. Right. And if we let something like this go unnoticed, the American people, I don't think there's a story on this anywhere. I've heard one maybe, and that's it.
Yeah. You talk about them sticking their foot in the door. I'd say the door's been kicked in. We've got attacks on nativity scenes, on Christmas trees, on now military chaplains being able to pray in the name of Jesus. The door's been kicked in. The question is, what are we going to do? We're going to put the door back up, or are we just going to let everybody come in and, like invading hordes, and peel away everything that's important to us?
Well, what do you suggest we do as individuals and as Christians? What do you suggest we do?
Well, that's why I started my organization, In God We Trust, to push back against this tide in America that, has God and Jesus as a taboo. Look how far we've sunk. People need to stand up and speak up for themselves. And if you are a Christian, proclaim your faith. Don't be shy about it. And if you hear attacks on Christianity, don't accept it.
Well, we hear attacks on Christianity in these other countries, in the Middle East, and yet our own president, doesn't say anything about it, doesn't condemn it at all. And his
administration, and you've got people in the armed forces attacking military chaplains for praying in Jesus' name.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, Anne Marie.
And one more time, tell us how people can find you.
Probably the best way to find me is on Twitter, @Bishop Nedd, BishopNedd.